cut up a bunch of apples from my friend Barbara's tree. Look how beautiful these are, and they're stamens or Jonathan's. They're something crisp and tart. So you want tart apples. So you're just going to blanch them. You're not going to cook them. But we're just going to blanch them down a little bit. So we'll put a lid on it and give them maybe a few minutes. While you're waiting on your apples to go, you're going to take some butter. Just take a chunk of butter. Ooh, this butter's hard. God, I can't get it out of here. A chunk of butter. Just because you're going to butter some good, strong tin foil. And I know you're thinking, what in the world would you be doing this for that has to do with apples and apple pie? Okay, now that you've got it buttered, the next thing you're going to do, I like to use a 9-inch aluminum pie pan. You're going to put this on here, and you're going to form it to the pan. Whoop, got a little hole there. Just form it to the pan. And we're going to sort of put it around like that, up around the sides. Okay, I know you're getting the idea now. Okay, that's it on the apples. They're ready to drain. Boy, do they smell good. Now we're draining the apples. Now the reason that we just give them like a little 3 to 5 minute cook there, it reduces them in size and it prepares them for freezing. And what I mean by reducing it in size, if you go to make an apple pie and you're using canned apples, they're already cooked, and therefore you pile the apples on, and that's where your crust is. It doesn't shrink away from your crust. Where if you're using fresh apples, you'll have like this 2-inch gap. People think they're getting air. This way you have a big pie. Okay, I have a mixture here of 3/4 cup. You can do 3/4 cup to 1 cup of sugar. I like less. 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour. I use 2 tablespoons. A dash of salt, and about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, or a teaspoon of cinnamon, according to what you like. Put half of that mixture on the bottom of your pan. Almost half. Doesn't have to be totally. Just line it there on the bottom. Okay, let's load in our apples. Well, that was a mess. Okay, they're hot. Spread them all over. Okay, that would be just like it's going in your pie pan. And then we're going to put half of this mixture over it. Now the way I do my apple pies, and the secret to a good apple pie, now you dot it all with butter, so you just knock yourself out with the butter, and then you squeeze a half a lemon over top of it, or say 2 tablespoons of lemon. You'll always find lemon seed in my pies. So now you're all dotted up with butter. You're all dotted up with lemon. There's a lemon seed. Told you you'd find lemon seed. And it's a half a lemon, a fresh lemon, and what that does is it really makes your pie special. That's what I tell myself anyway. And then you fold it up, and remember you've got it buttered, so it's not going to stick. So let me fold it up. Now this pie is all ready for the freezer. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator in the pie pan. And you see it fits in the pie pan. Let's see. So what we're going to do, put it in the refrigerator, then I'll take it out, I'll put it in the freezer, and then I'll take the pan away from it, and it'll just freeze right on its own, nice and flat. And when I'm ready for an apple pie, I just go out and buy me some crust. I know. I mean, I can make the crust, did it for years, but you know what? That other crust that you can just buy in the refrigerator part of the store is so good. Just unfold it. I'll put it in my 9-inch deep dish fluted, that's my apple pie pan, and I will layer this frozen brick right down in there and put her in the oven and let it cook the rest of the way. And this way I know all the right ingredients are already in it. It's just the way I want it to be. So in case at the time I decide to do one on the spur of the moment, I don't have any of these ingredients. It's already done in here, measured out, frozen, ready to go. You can let it thaw out, but I would put it in there. Ellen, the dog, has something to say about that. She says, no, leave it frozen. Whoop, dropping the camera. Okay, so there you are, getting your pies ready, and you can stack them vertical or however you want to stack them in your freezer. Now this is the way I would normally freeze apples and let them thaw and put them in your apple pie pan and, you know, do the recipe and everything. But this is the new way I want to do them. Okay, so here's what we did before. Now we're gonna take that out and see how that's the shape of my pan. You can tell my pans are well used. And so what we're gonna do now, there, we're gonna flip it over. And when we're ready to use it next, we just put the dough in the pan. We just put the crust in the pan, and we just put this in there, and then we can put it in the oven. Now what I'm going to do is re-wrap it again. So we wrapped it again. There it is, all ready to go back in the freezer. I'm out here in the garage. My freezer's out here in the garage, so I have this on top of my car. Duh. This is Sandy Saunders for He Shoots, She Cooks. Good eating, folks. The country way. Okay, we're unwrapping our frozen pie. And I'm going to put the crust in the pan. We're going to throw it in the oven. And I'm getting ready for the Hurlock Festival. And we're having a parade and everything, but there's also a pie contest, and you know what, I'm actually going to throw this in the oven, and then if it looks right, I'll put it in the contest. I have a lot of nerve, don't I? Okay, the trick is for me to get this dough down in the pan, and I just unrolled it, and in time for the Hurlock Festival. I have to have it in there by 9:30. Okay, so here's our pie with everything in it, the one that I froze and loaded up with those nice homemade apples. We're going to fit it down in here. Remember, I froze it to put it down in the pie. I have to let go of something here while I fix it in there, so just hold on a second. I actually need both hands. Okay, poke the holes there, and now I'm going to pick. Man, this is heavy. It is so full of apples, and we're just going to fit it right down there. Remember, it's frozen solid, and it has your well, you'll see at the beginning of the video, of course. This is like a few weeks later. I'm putting it together. Okay, so we're gonna unroll our dough over the top. And I need 2 hands again because we're gonna fancy it up. Okay, we have our pie closed in. I haven't done anything extra to it. Just sort of pinched it with, because I'm running out of time, it's gotta get in here, and I have an egg wash. You always have to cover it in an egg wash if you want it to have a really nice, this is just egg white. Didn't even add water with it, just now I'm gonna add some sugar and cinnamon. Just sprinkle it around the top. Gonna pop it in a 425 oven. I'm gonna wrap the corners in, the corners, how can you have corners in a round pie? I'm gonna wrap them in tin foil just because this is frozen and the dough is not, so it'll take longer. I'm sure I don't want it to burn. Okay, so I have my foil lined up. I'm just gonna fold it over the edge. And then it's ready to go in the oven. It'll go in at 425 and that'll be reduced in about 10 minutes to 400. I might reduce it to 375. At this point I'm experimenting. Okay, in the oven. We'll see what happens. Okay, I just took the crust off, okay, I just took the tin foil off. And so we'll let it cook a little bit longer. Well, here it is. It's out of the oven after, I guess it was in there about an hour at 425. And we'll just see what happens. I don't get to taste it, and I hope that the crust on the bottom isn't soggy, because remember, it was a big hunk of frozen apples and things. So, and part of that crust to the left came off in my tin foil when I took it off, so I just plopped it back on there. And I put it in a pretty dish because, good Lord, we know it needs some sprucing up. So I got to run it in there right now. I have a lot of nerve doing this, I'm telling you. Okay, well, I'm at the festival, and it looks like mine's the only pie here, so I might have a chance of winning. You said your last name was Todd? Howard Todd?
Todd, T-O-D-D. Todd from Dorchester County.
Wow, and those are my friend's apples from her apple tree.
Local apples too?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, how's it taste?
The apples are good. Well, I'm getting ready to try the top crust in a minute, but I'm eating these apples right now.
Okay.
Joe, I gave it to her.
Oh.
Now the mayor, Joyce Pratt, you said it was good.
It is delicious.
What are you looking for? Joe, there's some pie. I haven't tried it yet. Is it?
Oh, this is top crust. I'm getting ready to try it
Let
out.
me take your picture ahead and use the money.
Yeah, Howard, give her the money.
Is it good? Is it making the grade?
It's delicious.
Okay.
Extra gravy.
Good, good. Oh, good.
The prize of the pie contest right here.
My apple pie, and you can see it on YouTube. He shoots, she cooks.
How many pies were in the contest?
Now, we can't talk about that. There was one exceptional pie, and it was mine.